It's past midnight. The streets are completely empty. No cars, no voices. Just the flickering streetlights reflecting off the wet pavement. Imagine walking home alone when you notice someone standing beneath a streetlight.
At first glance, he seems ordinary enough, but then you realize he isn't walking. He's not running. He's moving in this unnatural, exaggerated, slow dance. He isn't listening to music. He isn't looking at anyone. He is simply dancing.
You watch from a distance, completely unsure of what you're even looking at. Then, the strange twisting and swaying suddenly end. He slowly turns completely towards you, revealing a wide, unsettling smile.
And when he sees you, he stops dancing, because that's when you really notice his face. He's smiling, but it's not a friendly smile, and it's definitely not a nervous one. It is a wide, unsettling, absolutely unmoving smile. The dance is over, but that terrifying grin remains perfectly fixed.
Accessing Archive. Section 1, the 2008 encounter. Let's officially open file 011 and dive right into this explainer. We're shifting away from that terrifying empty street and going back to the year 2008. That's the year an open-ended online story actually birthed a modern urban legend. Now, it wasn't presented as some confirmed paranormal event. Instead, it was this deeply unsettling personal account that just spread like wildfire across the internet. The original poster described exactly what we just pictured, a lonely, late-night walk through a totally quiet neighborhood. The narrator spots this strange figure dressed in ordinary dark clothing, just standing under the glow of a street lamp. And it's that contrast, right? The complete normality of his clothes mixed with the sheer abnormality of his movements. That's what really sets the hook. So after witnessing this bizarre, twisting dance, the narrator does what any of us would do. They decide to leave. They start walking away. But human curiosity, or maybe just a primal survival instinct, forces them to look back. And that's exactly when a new mystery and a whole new terror begins. The crucial detail here is that when the narrator looks back, the stranger is reacting to them. But he's not charging. He isn't running or shouting. He is just moving closer. The pursuit begins silently, slowly. He follows, and the entire time, he maintains that impossibly wide, completely unmoving grin.
Section 2, the chase. In an absolute instant, this quiet, familiar residential street transforms into a terrifying trap. The space between the narrator and the smiling man starts to shrink rapidly. This is the heart-pounding climax of the original account. The strange figure suddenly accelerates. He isn't just silently following anymore. He's actively closing the distance. This silent, grinning pursuit forces the writer into a desperate, panicked run into the dark, leaving the whole encounter completely open-ended. We get no clear explanation, no identity of who or what was actually chasing him. Section 3, a growing internet legend. So we shift from that original, unresolved 2008 story to its absolute explosion across online horror forums. This is where the story evolves from just a single, eerie post into a widespread, shared mythos. As the legend grew, people shared it endlessly across boards and videos, and with all that sharing came fan-created illustrations that really cemented his visual identity. The internet collectively gave him a pale face, an impossibly thin body, and they really exaggerated that unmoving grin, officially transforming him into one of the most recognizable figures in modern internet horror. But we really have to ask ourselves why. Why did this specific, completely bloodless encounter terrify literally millions of people? Think about it. There are no monsters here, no sudden jump scares, just a person on a street. Yet it spawned countless theories and kept people awake at night all over the world. Section 4, Theories in the Dark. Without a clear answer from the original story, internet communities naturally began filling in the blanks to try and explain what the smiling man might actually be. And a few primary theories surfaced. First, is he a paranormal entity, like a spirit specifically drawn to isolated people on lonely streets? Or perhaps he's a shadow person, some sort of strange interdimensional visitor. And then there's arguably the most unnerving theory of them all, that he is a creature attempting to imitate human behavior, but failing terribly at it. To really understand the horror behind that mimic theory, we have to consider the psychology of the encounter itself. Why does an action as innocent and usually positive as a smile become the source of such deep dread? It brilliantly illustrates the total subversion of human connection. Usually, a smile is a symbol of safety, happiness, trust. But when a smile literally never changes, when it gives no genuine sign of happiness during a pursuit down a dark street, it stops being a greeting real quick. Instead, it becomes a silent, severe warning.
And this perfectly defines the concept of mimicry in this context. The stranger's unnatural, exaggerated dance and his permanent, frozen grin feel so terrifying exactly because they completely lack genuine human emotion. It's almost as if something watched humans from a distance, saw that we dance and smile, and then tried to replicate it without truly understanding what those actions actually mean.
Section 5. The final question.
As we begin to wrap up this explainer, let's bring our focus right back to that empty, flickering street. The true power of the smiling man lies in the lingering, unresolved nature of that original story and its massive psychological impact. We have to remember that the most terrifying aspect of this legend isn't just the weird dance or the silent chase. It is the sheer persistence of that unchanging, impossible smile. It's the horrifying realization that whatever is behind that grin isn't going to break character. So, I want to challenge you directly. If you're walking home late at night, the streets are dead quiet, and you see someone dancing under a streetlight, would you assume you're safe? Don't ever assume you understand what you're seeing. Because sometimes the strangest thing isn't that someone is smiling, it's that they never stop.
Some stories disappear when the truth is found. Others survive because no one can forget what they saw. This file has been sealed, but countless more remain. Subscribe to the Enigma Files, where every mystery has a file, and every file hides a story. Until the next investigation, stay curious.